I'm Verdell, and this is Cooking with V. Today I'm going to take you through another family recipe. This was my mom's date squares. And we didn't know that it ended up in a recipe book until a distant relative actually sent a copy, took a picture of it, and sent it to my dad, saying, look, your wife's, my mom, Virginia Jessup's date square recipe is in this recipe book. So I'm going to share that with you today, and the recipe will be in the comments below. Making date squares is fairly easy. So it's kind of in two parts. I'm going to mix all the dry ingredients together, and in the meantime I'm going to get my dates cooking on the stove. So I have 1 pound of chopped dates with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and a cup of water. I'm going to mix, for the bottom layer, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of soda, a little bit of salt, lots of brown sugar, and now I'm going to cut in the butter. And again, I'm using organic ingredients. And we want to combine this, so I'm just going to use my hands. Wash my hands and be ready to check on the dates and give them a stir. Buttery goodness. I'll have to wash my hands. I'm going to combine the rest of the ingredients. So I need to add in the oats. Again, organic rolled oats. I'm going to add in the rest of the sugar now. And I have a little bit of egg left over, so I'm just going to add that in. Won't hurt. And so this is going to become the crust and the topping. It's really important this gets really well combined. My mom's recipe calls for half of this to go on the bottom of the pan and the rest to be the topping. So I'm just going to grab my baking dish, check on my... If you wanted, you could just grease the pan but I'm going to use parchment. Again, I truly love parchment. And then I just press it down. Okay, just gonna wash my hands and show you a little trick. So one trick to make sure that this is nice and flat and smooth is either you can oil a spoon or use butter. You just need a little bit. And then I can take the back of the spoon and I can evenly spread it out. And now my crust is ready to go straight in the oven. So this is a 2-bake recipe. So there's my crust. I'm gonna pop it in the oven. So my dates are almost ready to come out. I'm going to actually take the crust out, and so I'm just baking it a little bit so that it doesn't get too soppy and be too wet. And this is what I'm doing, is I'm just cooking down the dates so that they're not hard. So I'm going to allow them to cool, and then once they cool, I'm going to spread them over the crust. Yeah, I'll get ready for that. So when my dates came off the oven, they were really, really hot. So what I did was I took the dates out of the pot and put them in a glass dish to let them cool, and then a little trick here is to make an ice bath. So to get a larger bowl, put ice in it and set it in. This way the dates have cooled in less than a quarter of the time. So when I stir them, I want to make sure that there's no steam coming out of them anymore and that the entire bowl is cool to touch. So I'm set now to transfer my dates onto the crust. So just get all the dates into the pan. Okay. And then I just want to spread it as evenly as possible. So all the dates are on, and now I get to put the topping on. So this is the remainder of the dry ingredients. And again, I want to make sure that it's evenly spread. And then I can start to pat it down. When the butter melts, it will really merge all together, so the top part is not too important to make sure that it's completely pressed together. I just want to make sure that it's evenly distributed. I am putting a little bit of weight on it I have the oven preset to 325. I'm going to throw my date square into the oven for anywhere between 30 and 35 minutes, probably around 25 minutes. I will check on it. They're ready to come out. Perfectly baked date squares. I'm just going to set them here to cool. In a little bit, I'm going to actually remove them. Parchment paper makes it really easy to lift them out and let them cool even more before I cut them up into squares. I'm Verdell. This is Cooking with V. If you like what you've seen, please give a thumbs up and subscribe.